What's going on, people? Machiavelli Mills TV. So I'm sad to even have to report this type of news on my channel. Most of the time I'm either joking or we're talking about serious topics, but it's nothing that's too tragic, right? Unfortunately, today I have to report about the 14-year-old young man Tyre Sampson from Missouri. He might have been from St. Louis, right? From Missouri. He dies while he's on vacation. He's vacationing with a friend in the friend's family in Orlando, Florida. He gets on a ride called the FreeFall Tower. Now, this ride is 430 feet tall. It is the world's tallest freestanding drop tower, right? The ride drops at, I believe, 75 miles per hour. While he's on this ride, and he's coming down from the drop, while they going down 75 miles per hour, he is ejected from the ride. Now, let me tell you how I even saw or heard about this news. I'm on Facebook, and I see somebody post a video and said, watch to the end. You know, I should have known something was going on when I see like some sad emojis, like the sad reactions to the video. And I see something drop from the, like, smack the ground. And I look, and it's a person on the ground. Y'all, like, that sent chills down my body. Sent chills down my body. I didn't know how old the person was or anything like that. Just know is a human being that's on that floor, like not responsive. I see. I later found out it's a 14-year-old young man, young boy from Missouri, and then I get incredibly sad because a 14-year-old has not even lived their life yet. Just starting to live their life. 14 years old, which you may be 8th grade, going into high school, or maybe this is your high school. This is your first year of high school or whatever, and die while trying to have fun, while trying to have a good time. That's unfathomable. Like, just trying to have a good time, you're on vacation, you're trying to enjoy yourself, and you die. And you really die due to the negligence of the ride attendant. The negligence of the ride attendant on the ride. And I say the negligence because I don't know if you all know this. So Tyre Sampson is 6'5", 340 pounds, right? Tyre was a big boy. Tyre's father says that all night, Tyre had been getting rejected from the rides and the roller coasters in the theme park. He's been rejected from majority, all the rides he's been rejected from. They're telling him, hey, he cannot fit in these rides. He goes to this particular ride, and the ride attendant lets him get on. Now, one thing I think didn't happen was that he was not, you know, you pull like the thing down over the top of you. I don't think that was click. Like, you know, when you pull it down, you hear a clicking sound. Click, click, and it locks. I don't believe it locked across the young man. Like, I don't think it locked at all. And the ride attendant didn't even pay attention to the fact that it didn't lock. And he probably ignored the fact that Tyre was too big, probably too big for the ride, or too big for it to come down on him. Now, he may have possibly felt bad and said, you know, oh, I don't want you to not get on this ride or whatever. I want you to have fun or whatever. He could have felt bad for him. Okay, I'll just let you get on. But in that instance, you got to just make the right call, especially for a ride that goes 430 feet, like goes up 430 feet in the air and drops 75 miles per hour. It's too dangerous to play like a game of just letting somebody get on a ride who cannot fit the ride, you know? Unfortunately, the ride attendant lets Tyre get on the ride, and it's obvious that he's not clicked in because I've seen pictures, and if these are the true pictures from this ride, while he's in the air, the lights are on everybody's seat. Lights are on under everybody's seat, which I believe indicates that they're clicked in and they're locked into the ride. Tyre is the only person who doesn't have a light on under the seat that he's riding on, which indicates that his harness or the belt that goes over him is not clicked in, it's not locked in. So he's obviously not locked into this ride. And unfortunately, that's how he fell out of the ride. And, you know, some people may say that their ride attendant may have been in fear of being called a fat shaming or whatever, or so on and so forth. And I'm not calling Tyre fat. I don't want people to think that, you know, but people's like, maybe he felt like he didn't want to be discriminatory towards Tyre or whatever. And I understand that. But I'd rather a person be alive than to me feel bad that, oh, he can't get on his ride. I myself know that those rides, I've gone to the Six Flags Great America, got on the Giant Drop, which is a ride that is similar to this ride here. And I know how fast that ride drops down. I would be petrified if I was not strapped into that ride. In fact, when a news reporter spoke to Tyre's father, he got word from Tyre's friend that Tyre was telling his friend, and I don't, basically he don't feel safe. Basically, he don't feel like he's in there in the thing on the ride, and that please tell my parents, my mom and dad, I love them if I don't make it off this ride. That is what Tyre's dad said that the friend told him. That Tyre was saying while he was in the air when they went up to the top on the ride. No parent should have to go through something like that, y'all. No parent should have to bury their children during the time when they're supposed to be vacationing and having fun. No parent should have to experience having to find out that their child died during a vacation while they're trying to have fun on a ride, right? And if Tyre was getting denied at all the other rides, it was for a reason. He couldn't fit the ride. And it should have just remained consistent. The ride attendant just should have told him, you know, we can't get this to lock down. It's a nice way that you tell someone, we can't get it to lock down. You may not be able to get on. I'm sorry. Now, Tyre may have possibly been embarrassed. And I understand the thought of him being embarrassed was probably could have hurt the ride attendant to know that the kid was embarrassed. But I'd rather you have that little small moment of embarrassment. I'm sorry to say this. I'd rather you have that small moment of possible embarrassment rather than me playing with your life or gambling with your life by allowing you to get on a ride that I know you cannot fit in. And it's a sad situation all around, man. Like again, 14 years old. Dad says honor roll student. And it didn't matter if he was an honor roll student or not. It's still a child that just trying to have fun on a ride. But the fact that he is an honor roll student is like, you know what I mean? Wow. Young man, you know, doing what he got to do in school, doing the right thing, just trying to have a good time. And then this happens. Like nobody accounts for their kid not seeing a kid anymore after coming from a theme park. Getting on a roller coaster, getting on a ride. Nobody even thinks about that. I can only imagine a phone call that Tyre's friend, Tyre's friend's parents had to make, right? Because he's with Tyre was with his friend and his friend's parents. Can you imagine the parents of Tyre's friend calling Tyre's parents like, you know, your son just fell. He plummeted from a ride high in the air. And he's in a hospital now. Now he's deceased. You know what I mean? And he died the next day. But just imagine even having to make that phone call. That's devastating. That's horrible. That's horrible, man. Like, man, no parent should have to, no parent should have to get that type of phone call. And it's coming from somebody who, my brother was killed when he was 19 years old. And I remember, you know what I mean, getting that phone call. Man, I remember my parents getting that phone call, man. That rocked our world. And we, like, man, that's the only time I seen my father cry. Literally, when my brother was killed and my brother lost his life. So I can just imagine how that family feels, man. You know, but I know one thing, though. You know, they have a strong lawsuit on their hands. Now, we know that the lawsuit can never bring young Tyre Sampson back at all. They can't. But those individuals going to have to answer to a lot of questions. Why was he allowed to get on that ride if you know that he wasn't clicked in and it wasn't locked? He wasn't locked in. He can say he thought he was, but the light not being on under the ride, under the seat, clearly indicates that he wasn't locked in. Why was he getting denied at every other roller coaster or every other ride, but it was okay for him to get on then? Right? It's a lot of things that can be, you know, said or questioned. And they had people come in and inspect the ride, doing measurements, so on and so forth. I want to know what comes out after that. It was negligence. It was negligence on the part of the ride attendant. Make no mistake about it. I don't believe Tyre was fidgeting with anything and unclicked something and up. People were like, oh, kids do stuff all the time. Nah, I don't think so, man. Not with that kid going up and getting up in the air and telling his friend, hey, I don't think this thing is in tight. I don't know what's going to happen with Tyre saying, I don't think this is strapped down. Or I don't think it's buckled down right. Tell my mom and dad I love them if I don't make it. That don't strike me as a kid that would try to play with something to open something. Something wasn't strapped in right on his own, and he got up there and he got to the top and realized he wasn't harnessed in correctly. And it's terrible, man, terrible. I wish I hadn't even saw that video. That did something to me. I can't look at that again. I didn't even know what I was watching for real when I saw that, but because it wasn't labeled as kid plummets to death or nothing like that. It just watched to the end. Can't believe it, watched to the end. And I didn't know what went on until I saw, like, oh my God, somebody actually plummeted off of this thing and died, you know? So my condolences to the family of Mr. Tyre Sampson. This is scary. I'm in Orlando, Florida a lot. Not a whole lot, but we go every couple of years, getting on all type of rides. Get on with my daughter, who's old enough and big enough to get on the rides and stuff. My 10-year-old, I've gotten on with her rides, you know, with her over the time we've been to Orlando. It really make you second guess. It make you fearful of things like this because you just never know. We've heard of incidents of people dying on rides before. This is something that fresh that I can remember as an adult where it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's mind-boggling. That was hurtful to watch, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Rest in peace to that young brother, young baby, man. 14 years old, he's still a baby, still a baby, still a kid. And my condolences to his family. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.